Hey guys, in this chapter, we're going to take a look at a very useful piece of software called the VPS, Virtual Private Server. And although it's a fancy name, it's actually a very simple concept. It's nothing more than just simply a software in the cloud that allows you to run your MT4 configuration 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, uninterrupted. Now, if you're on Mac, like I am right now, you actually have no choice but to run MT4 in a Windows environment. If you have a Windows machine, you could probably run it from home. But remember, every time you run your MT4 from home, you risk the risk of your computer shutting down, your computer not working in the middle of your trade. All sorts of bad things could happen. Virtual Private Server exists for the very simple reason that you want your trades and all of your software and all of your algorithms and all of your MT4 scripts to be running uninterrupted 99.9% of the time. That's what these guys do, and there's literally thousands of them out there. One of the VPS providers that is very, very good is a company called New York City Servers. And they have a special deal with Pepperstone, so you could apply to get a VPS from them. And this is simply the application. You apply to them, 24 hours later, you're going to get this little welcome note from them. It'll tell you, here's your login information, and here's your password, which, by the way, they show you how to change. They send you a very complex password, and then you can change it to whatever you like. And then all you need in order to be able to run Virtual Private Server is a piece of software that is completely free and that is universal, that's available on both the Mac and the PC. It's called Microsoft Remote Desktop. You simply Google that. It's RDP, known as RDP for short. And on the Mac, this is exactly what it looks like. I'm just going to launch it up and you guys will be able to see it. So this is the RDP software on the Mac. And I already have, as you can see, I have quite a lot. I have probably 4 more in addition to these VPSs all across the world, spread out, running all sorts of MT4s for me. But one of them, of course, is the New York City servers. I'm going to show you how easy it is to set up the VPS software. It looks a little bit confusing at the beginning, but trust me, it's just a few lines of code. As long as you know exactly what you're doing, it's actually quite simple. Let me first sort of give you a dummy example so you could understand exactly how it works. I'm going to use the Mac piece of software because obviously I'm on a Mac, but it works virtually the same way on the PC. The key components here are all the same. And the key components are basically this. You click on this new thing, which is create a new connection. I'm going to say, let's say we're going to call it test connection, right? And then you need to be able to input the PC name, which in this case, everybody's going to provide for you. The New York City servers or anybody else who you do business with is going to provide for you the login numbers, the IP numbers. And generally, they're typically a set of 4 numbers, and I'm just making them up like right now, 111111111 and 11, right? And that's how you would put in. It's basically like a telephone number. They provide you a number, you copy that number, you put it into your PC name. That's all you need to do. Now, the username is almost always either administrator with a capital A, and they'll tell you if it's a capital A or a small a, or a small a, and it's always administrator. I do have one VPS I'll show you that has a different username, but they'll tell you what the username is. And then they give you the password, and you put in the password. And let's just put in put in a fake password, right? The last thing you need to do, especially on the Mac, is to make sure that you unclick these buttons, start session in full screen and use all monitors. The reason why you want to unclick that is because, especially if you're like me, this Mac right now is tied to 3 other monitors, or I have 3 monitors working all together on this Mac. So what's going to happen is if I say use all monitors, it's going to splash this VPS all across 4 different monitors. I only want to keep it contained in one single screen. So unclick this. And when you're using the Mac, what's very, very cool about it is you don't have to save it. It automatically saves it. So, we close this up, and I'm going to restart again my RDP. And you'll see I have a test connection here, right? Now, since this is a bogus connection that is not really real, I'm just simply going to delete it. And we'll say delete. And we'll delete this connection. Yes, I want to get rid of it. And let's go to the real connection, which is my New York City connection, the one that Pepperstone provided for me. So the way it works is very, very simple. And I'm actually going to, let me just sort of click on this, and we'll click edit. And so you'll see the New York City servers provided me with the IP address, which is, you can see is right over here. The administrator was with a big capital A. We have a password. I actually put the session in full screen. The main thing you don't need to do is use all monitors. That's the one thing you definitely want to uncheck. But here you can I check the start session in full screen. So let's close this up and let's log in. And logging in is super simple. You just simply log in. It's already going to know your password. And it's going to say okay. Now occasionally it'll say show certificate, or it'll say if it doesn't recognize the website may be insecure. Ignore all that. It really doesn't matter. You're logging into a piece in the cloud. It really doesn't matter. And now we're basically in the cloud. So let me just minimize this, and you can see. And actually, I'm going to move my screen because you can't quite see this in my screen. Let's move this around here, and there we go. And you can see that what's very cool about New York City servers is they already provide all the tools you need. The Pepperstone MetaTrader is already inside there. They've already downloaded for you, and the Google Chrome is over there. So you really don't need anything else to run your business 24 hours, 5 days a week. Now the MetaTrader Pepperstone MT4 is over here, so I'm just going to simply click on it, and I've already set this up. So let's just do this. Takes a little while. Remember, it's a Windows environment, so you have to be very patient with it. It's going to take a little while to restart. Sometimes, actually, you can be very patient. Sometimes I was going to say you have to click on it twice, but it takes. Remember, this is a very big program. It takes a lot of memory, so you want to give it a little bit of time, especially on the first time, to start up. So it's just going to take a second to start up. Okay, there we go. See, it took just a little bit of while to get going, but now it's there. And remember that same account that I had before. So we will run this just as like we run in our own domain, in our own computer. But the good thing about this is we can run this 24 hours a day. So obviously we can enable auto trading, and also we can install stuff on here, right? So this is a sort of a fresh account. I don't have any of my scripts installed on there. I don't have anything else installed on there. See, the scripts there's no scripts here, not even the Pepperstone script. It's all very clean. There's no expert advisors except the ones that come with the MT4 install. So if I wanted to, for example, I could install my buy script. I'll show you how to do that just sort of very quickly. And go into my open data folder. The cool thing is, of course, I'm doing all of this in the cloud. I'm in a Mac environment, but of course I'm working in the Windows environment. And here we go. We're going to go into my downloads folder. Here's my buy market script. Actually, I'm going to take both of them. I'm going to Control-C these. I'm going to put them down into MQL4, into my scripts folder, like we did before. Control-V, close it up. Refresh, and let's buy some euro just because I like the euro right now. Let me just it's going to refresh. Just give it a second. Remember, it's operating in the cloud, so it's going to take a little time to get all these functions going. But once all the stuff is set up, it works like clockwork. Okay, it refreshed out, and let's go buy some euros. And we bought some euros. Very nice. We'll come back later and see how well that does. So this is it. We went through the whole process, and now this particular piece of MT4, which is sitting in the cloud, will run on New York City servers in perpetuity, or not in perpetuity, but of course for a very long time. Certainly a much better condition, much better state of being than having to run it on your own computer, because you are essentially guaranteed. First of all, you can log into it anywhere in the world, but most importantly, it just simply runs for you. So you never have to worry about being down, about it being corrupted, about your computer logging off, all those things that are completely difficult when you're running it on your own computer. So I'm going to log out of the New York City service, just sort of show you a couple of other things. There are just, in case you use some other service, for example, you can use Amazon, which is free. You have to go to Amazon, they'll go through the whole process, and they'll actually give you a VPS for free. But you can use a couple of other VPS providers like FX Colo or Beaks FX. Now, one of the things that I wanted to kind of show you is if you go into some of these providers, the most important thing that not quite intuitive is some of these providers will give you sometimes not the actual numbers, but let's say a VPS name, right? PC name, they'll tell you do VPS 103, fxcolo.com. But here's the most important thing. A lot of them will also create a port. And if they tell you you need to put it on a port, here's the key syntax you need to understand. The syntax is the PC, the IP address, then colon, and the port number. So in a VPS like fxcolo, that's how it would look on this one. On a VPS like BeaksFX, let me show you this one. Here's how the port number looks. They tell you the information, they tell you port number, but they don't quite tell you, hey, you got to put the port number right after the IP address in this particular format. Once you do that, everything will work like hotcakes, and it'll be super easy for you to be able to trade 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, completely and totally worry-free. That's the VPS, super easy to do, and you start with New York City servers, which has got a specific configuration for a Pepperstone, and therefore makes it much easier for you to get going. Boris Schlossberg, over and out.